We are suffering from the delusion in our culture that stories are mere entertainment. And that's a foolish theory. And part of the reason it's foolish is actually self-evident. Stories are entertaining, so that's why we listen to them. Well, why are they entertaining? Right? They're entertaining to everyone. Your children will be pleased with you if before they go to bed, you tell them a story, you read them a story. They can learn things from stories. And you will do surprising things for stories. You'll watch them after work because it's a form of play. You'll line up and pay to go see a story, to go watch a movie, to watch a play. Most of the things that we do voluntarily have a story structure. And so if you're an intelligent scientist, let's say, let alone someone interested in literature, you need to understand, you need to ask yourself a very serious question. And the question is, well, why stories? So let's think of what you do when you go watch a movie, okay? And this is also something that will help you understand how you understand other people, because these things are very tightly aligned. Obviously, you come to understand a character or a series of characters when you go see a movie, because otherwise the movie wouldn't make any sense. So how does the author and the actors, how do the author and the actors guide you through that process of understanding? And how do you manage that yourself? Well, what you see in a movie is a series of characterizations. It's akin to what you see when you meet someone multiple times. You meet someone in different situations and you watch. What do you watch? You watch how they act. What do you specifically watch? You watch their eyes when you're talking to someone, when you're getting to know them. And the reason you do that, there's actually evolved adaptations that are biological that help you manage this. Your eyes are black pupils set against a colored iris against a white background. And the reason our eyes are like that is so that we can easily see, that they're easily visible to other people. And they need to be easily visible to other people because if you can watch someone's eyes, you can see what they're pointing their eyes at. You can see what they're attending to. You can see what's important to them. That's what they're attending to. And you can infer their aim. That's what you do when you watch someone's eyes. That's what you do when you point out things to children. You specify an aim. Children learn to point around before 2. It's quite a magical talent to point to something. Animals can't really understand pointing. Dogs can understand pointing better than wolves because they've adapted to human beings. To point to something is to specify the target of aim. Okay, now, why do you want to specify someone's target of aim? What they're attending to, what they're interested in? Because then you know what they're up to, and more than that. And this is how you come to understand someone, is you infer their aim from the manner in which they conduct themselves across multiple situations. Aim specifies perception. Now, this is a radical thing to understand, a truly radical thing to understand, because normally the way we think of the world is that we just look at the world and there it is. In a self-evident way, the objects of the world are just there simply, and when we look, they present themselves to us. But that's not how it works, not actually, because there's an unlimited number of things you can look at. There's unlimited number of things you can attend to. Even in the surface of any given object, there's variegated patterns in the carpets, in the walls, in the paint. There's shadows and lights. There's changes in illumination. There's a trillion things going on. And how you simplify that to what you actually see is quite a mystery. And the way that you do that, by the way, is with your aim, right? Your aim specifies the landscape of your perceptions. And what you really see in the world aren't so much objects as pathways forward, tools that you can use to move towards your aim, obstacles that will get in the way, friends, the human equivalent of, what would you say, the aids that move you along your way, enemies, those are people who block your pathway, and agents of transformation. Those are magical things, in a sense, that transform your aim. You know, sometimes you're moving from point A to point B, and you realize something fundamental or revolutionary, and now instead of moving towards point A, point B, you're moving towards point C. You're a new person, you're doing something new, you've changed, you have a new personality, right? The world is shaped differently for you. The way that things make themselves manifest has shifted. Who your friends are and who your foes are is different. And your essential mode of being, your personality has transformed. This is what you're doing when you go watch a movie. You see someone, the protagonist, the hero, or the anti-hero, doesn't really matter. They're both exemplars. They're both patterns that you can learn from. You see them in multiple situations. You see them acting in the world, and you infer their aim. As soon as you infer their aim, you can inhabit the same world they inhabit. That's actually why movies are meaningful to you, because as soon as you have the aim of the character, the world appears to you the same way it appears to the character. The objects of the world are the same, and so are the emotions that you experience and the protagonist experiences. And you get to do that for free, in a sense, right? You go see a James Bond movie and there's death everywhere, and death and adventure everywhere, and you can participate in that without having to die. And it's very useful to be able to explore very complicated ways of looking at the world without having to pay the ultimate price for it.
Greer and Catherine, their 4-year-old son, was diagnosed with a degenerative illness. That initiated a discussion about resilience in children, resilience in general.
It's a challenge for any parent to figure out when to nurture, when to push, when to comfort, how that works.
It sounds like your son is social, and he's verbal, and he's smart, and he's imaginative.
Certainly.
Your task is going to be to help him find his way. He's going to have to be the person who figures out how much he's going to be willing to fall on his face.
I want to be an oak tree, but also a source of light.
My daughter was very ill for several decades. She was doomed with her illness, and she figured it out, and she's like firing on all cylinders, so who knows what you can manage if you maintain your upward orientation. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to have answers to the questions he's asking.
I mean, we're continually doing that with each other. We're continually telling each other our stories. We're exchanging our aims. We're exchanging the manner in which we look at the world with one another. We're exchanging our emotional experience. That's what we have to offer each other. That's what we have to offer each other that's of value. Our alternative modes of being that might be more suitable. Aims that might be more suitable. Pathways forward that might be more efficient. Tools that might be more useful. Obstacles, ways to climb over obstacles we hadn't imagined. This is what stories do for us. A story is a description of the structure through which you look at the world. This is a radical thing to understand. It's quite unlike the typical materialist, reductionist, scientific view of the world, which is that you follow the facts as they reveal themselves. That's not true. There's an infinite number of facts. If someone throws you in the middle of the desert and you're lost, the facts aren't going to guide you forward. Right? You need a map, you need an aim, you need a mode of perception that structures the world so that you can navigate through it. That's what a story is. That's what a story is. And this is a very fun